All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Lee Vella. I'm with Clear Channel Outdoor, and we're so honored to be here with you today to get the word out about this very important insurance program for flooding in our area. I think everyone here can agree that a flood can happen anytime. Look out the windows right now. And it doesn't take a hurricane. It's just look at what happened with the Tax Day flood, the Memorial Day flood, and more recently the flood in the Kingwood area, as the council member can attest to. And according to the Flood Control District, a major flood occurs somewhere in Harris County about every 2 years. So it's an ongoing issue for everyone in the Greater Houston area, and we now have are going to talk about a program that's going to help remind people to buy flood insurance. But before we get into that, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing the 63rd Mayor of the City of Houston, Mayor John Whitmire.
Thank you, Lee, and thank everyone, certainly the stakeholders, Houston Realtors, Clear Channel, the press. Thank you for playing your role, and certainly it looks like the entire City Council of the City of Houston. It's moments like this that unite us, to bring about collaboration, to look out for Houstonians in the coming months. We've already had a couple of extreme storms. Kingwood we saw coming, days of rain, working with the Conroe, Montgomery County officials all the way up to Lake Livingston and Polk County. The more recent windstorms caught us by surprise. There's probably no way we saw what was coming. It was intense, it was sudden, but it is a reminder that we're all in this together. We're in a recovery mode dealing with derecho. So let's use this opportunity to recommit ourselves to hurricane preparation, recovery, and it starts with education. And part of that education process is going to be carried out by Clear Channel with the notice that you do need flood insurance. And with that said, I'll yield to other stakeholders, but it's education, education, get ready, get your supplies, talk to your neighbors, work with the City of Houston. Solid waste is actually on the job as we talk now in a recovery mode, and they'll be prepared for whatever storm comes forward. If we live right, which I'm doing my part, maybe we'll be rewarded. Maybe we'll be rewarded, and the storms will avoid us this year. So I guess one of my ending messages is, it's not going to do any good for me to live right if I don't have a roll call. But on a very serious note, we've got to be ready. We are ready. The City of Houston has demonstrated many times how we come together, we prepare for storms. Our first responders, let's give them a shout out. And you know I include not only fire and police, but solid waste and public works and the health department. We're actually in the process, members, of getting some really good news of putting generators at our multi-service centers. There's a corporation we met with yesterday. We're just real close to announcing the opportunity to put generators at our multi-service centers, which are now pretty much used year-round for either warming centers or cooling centers. So things are happening is positive, and look at the unity that this opportunity brings together. Thank you, Lee, and Clear Channel. Thank you, Bob Hale. We all know the importance that Houston Realtors play in the greater Houston area. So I saw our friend Bill Baldwin, who's I think is still running your Intergovernmental Affairs Committee. It's just rewarding to see the coming together of Houstonians. And press, you obviously have a huge responsibility. So thank you, and I'll yield at this time.
Thank you so much, Mayor, for your leadership in the city. And we certainly want to thank the leadership we see behind us today as well. Mayor Pro Tem Castock Tatum, Vice Mayor Pro Tem Peck, Councilmember Thomas, Councilmember Martinez, Councilmember Ramirez, Councilmember Carter, Councilmember Huffman, Councilmember Kamen, and Councilmember Davis. So thank you all for being here today and lending your support to this very, did I miss anybody? Okay, good. Oh, Plummer. Oh, I didn't see her come in. Councilmember Plummer, I didn't see her come in. But thank you for being here. And it shows, as the mayor said, unity in our city and our area for all these leaders to be here supporting this particular issue. So we appreciate that. So now we want to talk a little bit about the weather, and we have Jeffrey Evans here, who is the meteorologist in charge for the Houston Galveston at the National Weather Service. He'll be speaking about the NOAA National Weather Service hurricane forecast this year and why that makes the need for flood insurance even greater than usual. Welcome, Jeffrey.
Thank you all. It's an honor to be here with the mayor and with the full council, and just goes to show how important this message really is. And I just want to echo really what the mayor just said, is that, you know, as much as a federal agency, we work with the mayor's office very closely when storms start approaching, when we start dealing with risks. It's really up to the individual to know what they need. And this is the time to really assess that. This is the time before a storm to get your plans together, and in particular, we're going to talk about flood insurance as one of those big pieces of the puzzle. You know, when you start depending on other people, when you get in a disaster, you know, it's a rougher road for you. So we really encourage people to take care of yourselves. And then the reason this message is very strong this time of year is because this is going to be a very active hurricane season. It's not the message I like to spread, but we've seen how warm and hot and humid we already are. We're barely into June. We're already seeing overnight lows of 80 degrees. The water temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico are late summer temperatures already. That's the fuel. That's what these hurricanes need to intensify, to develop. So that's a big piece of that. And unfortunately, the atmosphere, as we get deeper into the season runs from June all the way to the end of November. For our area, really into about mid to late October. As we get deeper into the summer, the atmospheric pattern is going to get quieter and allow a more favorable environment for these storms to brew up in the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. So officially, the NOAA is forecasting between 17 and 25 tropical storms or hurricanes. Up to 13 hurricanes, and up to 7 of those could be major hurricanes. That's a Category 3, 4, or 5 hurricane. These are big numbers. It's a big numbers for the Caribbean, the Atlantic Basin, the Gulf of Mexico. That doesn't necessarily say whether or not we are going to get hit or not. It's been 41 years since we've had a Category 3 impact the Houston area. That was Alicia in 1983. That's a long time. To say that we're overdue is an understatement. We are due for a big storm. Each storm is a little bit different. As we've witnessed with Allison, as we witnessed with Harvey in 2017 and Imelda in 2019, we can get tremendous amount of rainfall, even with quote unquote just a tropical storm. It doesn't take a major hurricane to have a big impact. We flood very easily here. We are a flood prone area. So this is the time. This flood insurance is really key. Just because you didn't flood in Imelda, just because you didn't flood in Harvey, doesn't mean you're not going to need flood insurance for the next storm. I hear that all the time. I didn't flood in Harvey, so I should be good. No, not necessarily. Maybe your area didn't get the 59 inches of rain that Dickinson got. So it also just takes one thing to float down in a neighborhood and plug the drainage right in front of your house, and all of a sudden it backs into your house. You talk to people who have gone through this with Harvey, who had flood insurance. For those that didn't, it's a whole different recovery process. It's really very, very important to have that flood insurance in place. This is the time of year to add that. I know we're all trying to cut costs, but this is not a cost to cut. It's very important. It takes 30 days before, when your application gets in, till the flood insurance starts. You can't wait for a storm to be out there in the Gulf and say, now is the time, I'm going to go ahead and add it. Now I'm afraid. This is the time of year to add that. So I just want to close, as said earlier, it doesn't even take a hurricane. It doesn't even take a tropical storm. We can get floods from just normal afternoon thunderstorms. So again, don't hesitate, don't wait. Get your family prepared. you're not going to have a lot of notice a lot of times, even with a big hurricane. Alicia, as I mentioned, 1983, a Category 3 that made landfall right near Houston, brought a lot of wind damage, like the derecho, but over a much bigger area of Houston. We only had about 72 hours notice from formation until it was making landfall. So you're not always going to have 5 to 7 days to watch this on the Weather Channel and have Jim Cantori show up on Galveston Beach and and get that energy going. So get your plans together. Get your evacuation. If you're along the coast, know where you're going to go, when you're going to go. This is the time to really start having those conversations. So anyway, thank you for your time this morning, and we're going to hope for the best, but we need a plan for the worst.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And I saw Councilmember Pollard come in, so thank you, Councilmember, for being here with us here today. Of course, none of this campaign that we're talking about today would be possible without the support of the resources of the Houston Association of Realtors. It's 48,000 members across the region, make it the largest professional trade association in Houston and the second largest realtor association in the country. And Bob Hale's here with us, so thank you, Bob, for being here as well. But we want to hear from the chair right now, and the HAR chair is Thomas Mouton. Thomas?
Thank you all. My name is Thomas Mouton, and I am proud to be your 2024 chair of the Houston Association of Realtors. I want to first thank Mayor Whitmire for allowing us to be here at this press conference today at City Hall and taking time out of his busy schedule to be here. I also want to thank all the city council members that are here in attendance. I want to thank Lee Vella with Clear Channel Outdoors for being such an amazing partner on this campaign as well. Lastly, I want to thank Bob Hale, our president and CEO at HAR staff that's here, and as well as my fellow board members that's here in attendance as well. We have about 48,000 members of HAR, and we are the front lines with our clients when they experience a tragedy. The information Jeffrey shared just now should be a warning to everyone in our region, but as we enter the hurricane season, all of our members want to encourage citizens across the area to obtain flood insurance. There's the National Flood Insurance Program as well as private insurance program as well. Here, we at HAR have established a website to provide more information about your options and risk involved with flooding at har.com/flood. A reminder, like Jeffrey said, there's a 30-day waiting period until the insurance policy becomes effective, so now is the time. It's heartbreaking when we have a homeowner who did not have flood insurance and does not have the funds to repair or to rebuild. We saw this following Hurricane Harvey, and when people just had to walk away from their homes with absolutely nothing. Flood insurance isn't just for homeowners, as renters can also purchase content coverage to replace their belongings as well. I know the National Flood Insurance Program and the private insurance has both increased their premiums due to mountain national disasters, not only in our area, but across the country as well. Flood insurance is still a necessity as part of living in our region. It's better to have flood insurance in case of a national disaster than lose your home and your belongings. So just one more time, our website for information and resources is har.com/flood. And at this time, I want to introduce Ricky Gonzalez, my fellow board member, to translate this message in Spanish.
Hola, buenos días. Me llamo Ricardo González y estoy muy orgulloso de ser miembro de la Junta Directiva de la Asociación de Houston Realtors. Quiero comenzar agradeciendo a nuestro alcalde Whitmire por permitirnos tener esta conferencia empresa de la oficina del municipio y por tomarse un tiempo de su apretada agenda para estar aquí. También quiero agradecer a todos los miembros de nuestro consejo que están presentes. Por último, quiero agradecer a Lee Vela y Clear Channel Outdoor por ser un socio increíble para nuestra campaña. Tenemos aproximadamente 48,000 miembros en HAR y estamos en primera línea cuando nuestros clientes sufren un desastre o una tragedia. La información que Jeffrey compartió hace un momento debe ser un aviso para todos en nuestra región. Pero a medida que entramos en la temporada de huracanes, todos nosotros, nuestros miembros, quieren animar a los ciudadanos que toda la área a que tengan seguro contra inundaciones. Existe el Programa Nacional de Seguros contra Inundaciones o pueden obtener un seguro privado contra inundaciones. Hemos creado un sitio web para dar más información sobre sus opciones y los riesgos involucrados en las inundaciones. El sitio web es har.com/flood. Hay un tiempo de espera de 30 días hasta que la póliza se seguro te haga efectivo. Así que ahora, en este momento, es una pena cuando tenemos un propietario que no tenga seguro contra inundaciones y que no tenga los fondos para reparar o reconstruir su casa. Lo vimos después del huracán Harvey cuando la gente que tuvo que abandonar sus hogares sin nada. Sin embargo, el seguro contra inundaciones no es solo para propietarios, también son para los que rentan. Pueden obtener cobertura con contenidos para reemplazar sus cosas de casa. Sé que el Programa Nacional de Seguros contra Inundaciones y los asegurados privados han aumentado sus policías debido a los crecientes desastres naturales, no solo aquí, pero en todo el país. Aún así, el seguro contra inundaciones es una parte necesaria para vivir en nuestra región. Es mejor tener seguro contra inundaciones en caso de un desastre que perder su casa y sus cosas. Una vez más, nuestro sitio web para obtener más información y recursos es har.com/flood. Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much, Ricardo. With 38% of our population in this area, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, is Hispanic and speaking Spanish, it's very important to get the word out about all of this in both languages, English and Spanish. We're here today to launch this program, and Clear Channel is very, very committed to helping keep the area safe, not only through donations like this, which will be over 160 billboards over 6 months, but also with our digital boards, we operate the Gulf Coast Emergency Communications Network, working with 5 counties to be able to put up emergency messaging when and if we do have another storm. So we have worked out the protocols with the Homeland Security offices in those counties to be able to display that information instantly on our digital boards. So that's a big part of what we've been doing for the last number of years. This program is so important to reach all the residents in this entire area, not just the city of Houston, obviously, but throughout the area. And currently we have 49 of those boards up right now. And they're going to create 34.5 million market impressions in the first month alone. So it's important to get that word out. It's important for us to tell our neighbors, talk to each other, and stress the importance of what we're doing here, and to urge people to look and as one of the speakers said, everything costs more these days, and unfortunately that's the truth. But this is something that's very necessary. So it's just something that we all need to have. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to unveil the billboards. So if we can have the council members and the speakers, and we'll start with the one on the furthest on the right there. Okay, we'll do this on 3, guys. Are y'all ready? Everybody's got in position. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Thank you all so much.